Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
The schedule is out. Yes, the NFL season is just right around the corner. Cannot wait. Welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show here on this Thursday, post-schedule release. I know you all have consumed it. We'll give you our thoughts. And Brian Ford, COO of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, will join us at 10:30 to chat about any special events and tickets and all that kind of fun stuff and what's in store for you Buck fans getting in the crew or already in the crew for this upcoming season. I am so jacked up about it. So we'll hit that. The Rays win last night 4-3. The bullpen steps up. We'll talk about that. The PGA Championship is underway. We got NBA and NHL to talk about. Good morning to you, Nick Geddes from On3 Sports. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love it when we have a major championship in golf because you get to wake up right away. I woke up just before 8 o'clock, checked the tee times. Tiger Woods was teeing off in 10 minutes. Perfect way to wake up. And then a lot of leaders pulling off too early, which is a little unusual, but it's created a pretty packed leaderboard early on there at Valhalla. So join the golf.
Yes, in fact, I just saw the leaderboard. Schauffele has now moved to 3 under with Hovland and Spieth and Doug Gim.
Yeah, I know. Don't forget Doug Gim.
Don't forget Doug Gim. When the majors come around, Doug Gim is your man. McIlroy's at 2 under par. Matsuyama 2 under. So some of the big names are up there, baby. Let's go. And Tiger was at even par through 4. Still through 5 now, so that's good. So not too far off the pace. So we'll keep you abreast of what's going on at the PGA Championships. We got all our picks yesterday from Johnny Gerber. Hope you got those in. So away we go. So first impressions of your Buccaneers schedule. And we were talking about this beforehand. You know, let's not forget, folks. Most times, like last year and previous years, the Bucs get screwed on the schedule. They have been uniformly screwed on the schedule for years and years and years. So to get something that I would think is even-handed, if not pretty damn good, is a major step in the right direction, a huge step in the right direction. It ain't easy. And by the way, don't look at these predictions that by numbers say that the Buccaneers have the 5th easiest schedule. That's weighted because of the 28 losses you throw in there with the Carolina Panthers, who, by the way, play the Bucs tough. It's a division game. So that's a little bit skewed. What you look at here to me is 5 division winners, which is the max you can play, I believe. 6 total playoff teams. You've got, by my count, 6 of the top 10 rated quarterbacks in the NFL on your schedule. So it's not easy by any means. But I think there's some spots in here that are good, some spots that are bad. But just in general, the number one thing for me, Nick, is no international game. When you have 9 home games and you get to keep 9 home games, that's rare, number one, and that's big for the Buccaneers. I think that's huge. No international travel, and you get to keep that game. Because don't forget, folks, international travel comes with a lengthy hangover. Some teams weather it better. The Bucs have not for the most part. So to me, that was the biggest bullet you dodged in the schedule.
Yeah, that's a big one. No international game. Also, no December outside games.
Yeah, no cold weather games.
Yeah. No cold weather December games. That's awesome as well. And then a bye week that's in week 11. What was the Bucs bye week last year? It was week 5, right? Week 5, like it feels like they always have these early bye weeks, so they get one here at a good time in week 11, which is going to come. And then look at the schedule coming out of the bye. The Giants, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Cowboys, who I know are going to be good, but do they really scare you? Probably not. The Panthers and the Saints. So then you get 2 divisional games in the last 2 weeks of the season. I have a feeling those 2 games are going to be really important. And by the way, you get them at home. Right. You don't have to go on the road for that. So let's be honest. The tough part of this schedule, the one that everybody's focusing in on, is week 7 through 10 going into the bye. That's a little bit that's a little bit of a murderer's row. Baltimore, Atlanta, Kansas City, and San Francisco. But again, you get 3 of those games at home.
Yeah.
You don't have to go on the road except for going to Kansas City on, a Monday night, right?
Yeah.
Which is going to be fun.
Which, you're going to play Kansas City. You might as well play them on the road. Chances are you're going to lose that game anyway. I'm not giving away any games. I think the Bucks can hang with just about anybody in this league. But you're probably going to lose it. So whatever. Go on the road on a Monday Night Football and get it over with, and then come home and beat the 49ers.
Yeah. And I do think leading up to that stretch, by the way, even to start the season, again, it's not like it's crazy. Washington, so Jaden Daniels' first career start.
Love that.
Detroit on the road is going to be tough. We know that. But Denver, Philly at home, who the Bucks handled last in the playoffs, Atlanta, New Orleans, those games aren't too bad going into that stretch. So, you look at going into the bye week, you'd like to be. I'm doing ultimate schedule predictor here. I think 6-4, 5-5.
Yeah, exactly. Doable. I'm right there with you. Yeah, which gets you to 10-7. We'll go through each game, but I think this schedule screams 10-7 to me. And that's a 4 straight NFC South title. Agreed?
We'll see what Atlanta has to offer, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know they've been a little bit of a clown show here over the last month, but a
little bit.
Might be underselling it a little bit, but
I would say so.
I think they're going to be a good football team. So, but 10-7,
they're going to be good.
These teams are all flawed in some way. So, 10-7 seems about right.
Yeah, I mean, we're here we sit, 100 days from the start of the season. There's a lot that can go on. I mean,
right.
Don't forget what training camp did to the Bucks in 2021. On day 2, right when Ryan Jensen goes down. As you look back, you're like, season over. Thank you. Not over, but you get a key injury like that. Everything changes. Everything changes. So we're doing this with that in mind, and we'll go through all the games and give you some predictions. So have some fun with this anyway. But I think that murderer's row of the Ravens, Falcons, Chiefs, 49ers, you're playing Lamar, Kirk Cousins, Mahomes, and Brock Purdy, probably 3 of the top 5 quarterbacks, and then throw Kirk Cousins in there, who's always, was going to be a good, he's always effective, especially in the regular season. So, and then you look at the quarterbacks on this list, you got a few rookies in here, but for the most part, you again, 6 of the top 10 quarterbacks and 5 divisional champions, 6 playoff teams. It's not easy, but no NFL schedule is easy, by the way. It's a tough league every week. Most of these games come down to one score. So, all right, let's go through it. They open up with the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels, who there's some talk that maybe he won't start. They bring him. I don't see that. I think that's just chatter. Yeah, he's experienced enough. He's played enough football in the biggest conference in college football. This kid's ready to go.
I'd hope at 23 years old, you're ready to go.
Yeah. Jaden Daniels is going to get the start. It's a 4:25 game. By the way, 3-day games in September at home.
That's 2 1:00s too in September at home.
Yeah, and we go back to the old adage. Oh, well, that's an advantage for the Buccaneers. No, it's not. It's not an advantage for the Buccaneers. Playing in the heat, practicing in the heat constantly is not an advantage for any team. I don't think. I think it's proven out that way. And
I know. And for all you that love your red jerseys, this just means more wearing white.
Yeah, that's fine.
When's the first time the Bucs are going to wear red? By my estimation, it ain't happened until week 7. So get ready for the white on white all the way to week 7.
What's wrong with the white on white?
Oh, the white on white.
Unless you have to wash the uniform.
At least put the white on pewter. When they do the white on white,
you don't like that?
They did that during the Brady years. I don't know. That might have been a Tom directive.
That's crisp. That's crisp.
Oh, I did not like the white on white. At least put the pewter in there. I like the pewter.
I like the white on white. All right, so they get the Commanders. That's a dub. That's got to be a dub week 1, right? And then you go to Detroit, tough atmosphere. Brady might do that game, right? Playoff rematch, maybe.
I saw already. I think he's already booked for that one.
Oh, is he?
He's going to be doing. Okay. So there's only like 2 games on the schedule that the Bucs could realistically have Brady as their announcer, is what I saw.
Which, by the way, doesn't mean squat to me one way or another. I mean, I kind of like to see at least one game, but whatever. All right, so you got that, and then so at Detroit, I'm going to give him an L there. I'm going to give him an L on the road at Detroit. Does Detroit open on the road week 1? I think
that's what I was checking here real quick. No, they open up. No, they open up against the Rams at home.
At home?
So,
Okay, so
this will be the
all right.
second home game.
All right, so I still, I'm gonna give him an L there. Now you come home against Denver in Bo Nix, probably. I don't know if they'll be starting by then, but probably Bo Nix. I would say that's a dub. Then you got the Eagles, who you drub. Now this is going to be a different Eagles team.
Yes, it will.
It's going to be a different. The chemistry, everything's going to be a little bit. But no, Jason Kelsey. They've lost some things. They've added some things as well. So I'm going to give us a dub, and I think it's important to be 3-1 after the first quarter. You got 3 home games. And you got a murderer's row coming up. So I think it's imperative to be 3-1, at least 3-1 after the first 4. Then you're at Atlanta, and that's going to be a Thursday night. So you got kind of a short week there. I believe the Falcons also play on that Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So the Falcons short week there for the Bucs. The Saints, so 2 straight road games within the division. Interesting. Of course, you'll have plenty of time to get ready for the Saints after that Thursday. So you get the mini bye early in the season. This is good to me. You get a mini bye early in the season, right? And then you get your real bye late in the season. So that's perfect. You get that Thursday night mini bye. So I think that's another great setup in terms of the juxtaposition of these games. And then you got the murderer's row. And not that you got 2 divisional games there on the road. That's tough. That's tough right there. So it doesn't even start in week 7. It really starts in week 5. And you got the Eagles before that. I mean, again, there are no picnics in the NFL, but that stretch is really, really tough. So I'm going to go an L and I'll say a loss at the Falcons and a win at the Saints. But you could, those are going to be 3 7-point games, either one. I'm just going to go 50-50 there. So, and then you got the Ravens at home in Lamar. That's a Monday night game. Probably be maybe an MOR TV game, by the way. That could be for MOR TV. So we would be doing a nice little pregame show for you there, hopefully, on that one. I'll give him an L there. Give him an L there at the home against.
I remember the last time the Bucs played the Ravens at a night game. What was it, a Thursday night in 2022? And the Bucs lost that game because Get Live 45 was loafing all over the place on the field. If you recall, that was the game he got called out for.
And that's
but he's no longer here.
Lamar threw him it right in his chest, and he ran out of bounds, so he wouldn't get hit by the quarterback.
Right. So I'm like tracking back to that game, but I'm like, the main culprit of the defense was gone now. So we'll see.
Yeah, good. Yes, we'll have Servassier Dennis or KJ Britt tracking him down. Then we got the Atlanta Falcons at home. So I'm gonna say that's a dub.
They're gonna split against the Falcons this year.
Right,
probably the Falcons and the Saints, they'll split.
That's what I got. Yeah. So then you're at the Chiefs. That's an L, and then the 49ers at home. I'm gonna give them an L there too. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5-5 at the bye week, right? Which I think you're okay because this is where you make your run. You get
kind
your
of how they did last year.
Right. Exactly. So then you're at the Giants. They should have folded up shop by then. Who knows who's going to be quarterback? It won't be Danny Dimes by that time. Who knows?
They have 5 primetime games, by the way.
The Giants?
The Giants.
It's their 100th anniversary.
The Jets have 7.
They have 7?
The Jets have 7.
Aaron Rodgers.
We're doing this again.
By the way, if you haven't seen the Aaron Rodgers, Tucker Carlson sit down, that's a must. That's a must watch. Very interesting interview. So Giants and Panthers. So I'm going to go dub there. And then the Raiders at home. All right. That's a dub. Who knows who's going to be quarterback? And then probably Gardner Minshew at that time. Who beat us? I get it. Then they're at the Chargers. Harbaugh.
I have to wait and see how the Chargers are going to be. The Chargers could be really, really good, or they can be a disaster. Like, I don't think there's an in-between there.
I agree. So I'm going to give them an L there, though. And then an L to the Cowboys at Dallas. But again, they can win any of these games. But I'm just going by, how this works, right? Every game's going to be close. I think the Bucs are going to be in every game. And it's just a matter of mistakes at that point. And it's, sometimes it's tough to win on the road in close games. Then you get the Panthers and Saints at home at the end of the year. You got to win them both to win the division. I think you step up and you get 2 dubs there. So I got them going 10-7. The 10-7 mark. What do you think?
Yeah, I think 10-7 is realistic. I mean, last year was it 9-8, right? It went 9-8, and you have to ask yourself, do you feel like the Bucks are a win better this year? And I mean, I think if you get, it depends. There's some factors here. Like, let's be honest. Like, are we going to get the Baker we saw last year? I mean, there's still that part of
I think
me.
he's better. I think
You,
Baker's
you,
better.
you probably could think he might be better, but there's still that part of me that has to see it. I need to see him put two straight good years together.
I get it.
And I see a lot of people commenting here, and we haven't talked about this much this offseason. It's crazy how the difference in the off seasons was. Last year we were talking so much about the Bucks have a lot of talent, but the head coach is going to doom them.
Right.
And now we're coming off a 9-8 game. He put his Picasso obviously against Philly. We haven't been really talking about Todd Bowles.
No.
But I see people in the comments. But there's people here in the comments that are talking about concern about Todd Bowles.
I do not disagree. Let's get to some of the comments here. First of all, Yeezy, good morning to you. If Bucks are 500 by the bye, we can get over double-digit wins. Totally agree. 500, but if you get 6-4 there, and I think that's doable. But I'll just go. I'm being a little conservative. Guys, the problem is Bowles is still the head coach of this team, says Bucks Basement. How many games did Bowles lose because of his awful time management skills? We think that's going to improve next season. Yeah, I think he got better as a head coach last year. I still think, the timeout situation is ridiculous. The challenge situation is ridiculous, but I did see some growth in that area last year. I still would like to see them be a little bit more urgent when it comes to making obvious changes in personnel. See Matt Filer, Devin White. That's
what Todd Bowles can't have is his defense, and that's obviously what he's focusing on. He can't have a game like what happened in Houston last year that the Bucks should have won. Like, we forget about it. The Bucks had about 3 or 4 games that should have gone the other way last year.
Yeah,
if not for
sit
some
back and cover 2.
Right. Those are the things that concern me about Todd Bowles, is that he almost feels like he's due for 2 or 3 of those a year.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's the biggest weakness on this team, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and they did. They added some to that secondary, but it doesn't, like, outside of Winfield, you're not going like, ooh,
Well, I mean,
why? Actually, I say this: Winfield actually has a chance to be even better because Whitehead's next to him.
Right.
Again,
I think they improved dramatically in the secondary because you get Whitehead back, who's a smart player, really good communicator. You get rid of Carlton Davis, who I think was a bit of a liability, couldn't catch. Never
on the field either.
Post contract was just never available, and that just really hurts your continuity. I think Zion McCollum really played well last year and is coming into his own and has tremendous physical skills. I think the drafting of Tyke Smith could give you an inside playmaker there, another playmaker in the secondary.
Yeah.
So
they brought in Bryce Hall and
Tavares.
And Izzian's still here, and now Izzian's got a battle for his starting job too.
Yeah.
Jamel Dean as cornerback 1 is going to be, I'm not as big on that one, but it's kind of the only option they had. Yeah. So
he can run. He can run and cover. He can't catch.
The more I talk about it, the secondary does sound more improved. But again, we've just seen it though over the last few years. They're due for some real stinkers at times.
Yeah. And in the addition by subtraction with Devin White and Matt Filer and Ryan Neal, as Meets McGee says, good morning to you, Meets McGee. Said JP, I'm concerned with Todd Bowles' in-season personnel decisions. Yeah, we talked about that. He had issues in that department the last 2 seasons. Yeah, I totally agree. He's got to be better at that. And the good thing about Todd Bowles is he's a super smart guy, and I do think that he has improved as a head coach in the last couple of years. Is that fair? I think year 1 was a tough year. It was a tough year for him. It was the whole freaking Brady thing going on. It was tough.
It was. I was going to say about Todd improving. I mean, last year this is why you have to judge the whole season. But we recall the Bucks were 4-7 at one point last year, and I think everybody around town had him, on the chopping block. Yeah, bye-bye. We were waving goodbye. But did any of us see the Bucks going on a streak like that, like they did at the end of the year?
No.
Did you think the Bucks were going to win a playoff game last year?
No, not when they were 4-7.
And in the fashion they did, they were in the Final Four standing, and it wasn't like Detroit, beat the brakes off of them up there.
No.
So you came away like we're not even, like I said, it's so weird this year. It's like we're not talking about Todd Bowles as a problem.
Right.
We're not doing it.
Which I think is I don't think that's right. I think it's still an issue. I think
he's
it's
still
still
one
an
of my
issue.
bigger question marks on the football team.
I agree.
He always just will be because of his track record.
Right. Until and I think it got better in year 2. So you expect it to get better in year 3.
Yeah, but I gave him his due for that, everything that happened last year where they could have folded shop and the team could have let him down, and they kept playing and they got into the playoffs. Like I give Todd Bowles credit for that.
Absolutely, as he deserves. And listen, we're not saying he's a horrible head coach. It's not what we're saying at all. We're just saying that the personnel is good, and he's demonstrated even in the Lions game with the lack of timeout at the end of the game, right before half. There's just a lot of game management issues that I still think persist, and he can get better at that. I think game planning, this coaching staff does a pretty damn good job. I think offensively they'll get better with Liam Cohen.
I was going to say that
more experience. Yeah,
I was going to say that you don't have to deal with, and this is not a knock against Dave Canales because we always knew this was going to happen. But you don't have to deal with an OC that by the time we get midway through the season is still trying to figure out, okay, what's my best this?
Plays.
Yeah, how do I sequence this? Because his play sequencing last year was disastrous at times. I don't think you have to deal with that this year. You have an OC that's ready to roll.
No, I agree. James says if things go Bucks' way, defense improves, secondary better, offensive line better, then Bucks will go 12-5. Wow, I'm banking on the improved culture without Devin. Baker has another real good year. I think all that's very plausible. I think the running game is the big equalizer because again, you're so bad at running the football and you still win a playoff game. You win a division and you can't run the football. That's rare. That's very rare in this league. So I think you have a dramatic improvement in the run game, and I think dramatic. And by the way, the hate on Devin White, I think, is not. I have to disagree with some of my esteemed colleagues. I think Devin White will be much better with this offensive line in this system. We'll see.
I'm sorry, who?
I'm not Devin White. Rashad White. Sorry, okay. Rashad White. Yeah, I think that's.
I heard you say the hate on Devin White was like.
No, my bad.
I was like, hold on.
Rashad White. Thank you for calling me. Yeah, reboot. Rashad White. I think, some of the metrics that we talk about with him is running back one and yards after contact. If you're getting contacted in the hole by 4 guys, you ain't going to get much yards after contact. You put him out into space, he's one of the best making guys miss. So give him a little space in the running game, open up the running game with 3 wide instead of having, 75 people within a 12-yard with this. We're going triple tights trying to blow people off the ball last year. We got nobody that can do it except for Tristan Wirfs. Doesn't work.
And if you take note too of the offenses that Liam Cohen comes from, and I'm just using the Rams because that's all you have to go off of in the NFL. I mean, if the Rams always, they're known for passing the ball around the yard, clearly. But at its essence, I feel like that offense really depends on having look at the running game they've had there over the years, like prime Todd Gurley.
Yes.
Just thinking of the McVay years that Cohen was there. Prime Todd Gurley, even Darrell Henderson.
Much more balanced than you think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even a guy like Darrell Henderson always had a big yards per carry. Kyron Williams last year was one of the best running backs in the entire league. Ray Davis, go to his college days. Ray Davis put up a lot of yards there in Kentucky. Yes. So the running game has always been as a focal point of of the offenses he's been a part of.
And I think with Graham Barton, and you set Gedeke at his spot and Wirfs, I think you find you've got some good candidates for left guard. Elijah Klein might be a really, really good find. Cody Mauch, second year, already bigger. Saw him at the All-Star thing. He's much wider, much bigger. So I think your interior line is vastly improved. You got an offensive line now and a scheme that's going to allow you to run the football. So I think that's a dramatic improvement for the Buccaneers. Let me see what James says here. They went 9-8 with a bad O-line, an inconsistent D, and real bad secondary, no run game. Yeah. So yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. There's room for improvement a lot. Nathan Elliott says Fox unveiled its marquee matchup games. The Bucs do not have one. That means Brady will not be calling any Buccaneer games. Could it change? Yes, late in the season if the Bucs play well. I could care less. Really, could care less. It's just whatever. I'll be more interested to see how Brady just calls games more than if he calls Bucs games. Canales said, "How do I use Chris Godwin?" Yeah, exactly. Luke, Cam Cake Maker Gedeke, Pancake Maker. He blew up a few guys and pancake Cam Jordan. He was most improved.
Speaking of that, have you seen Cam Jordan? I mean,
yeah,
ultimate troll. Have you seen him on Twitter this morning?
Yeah. He's going after Sapp now. And
he put something on Twitter. He's like, week 14 and week 16, all stadiums should have a dome if you have harsh elements. And I think one of those games is against the Bucks, maybe. And someone commented, "You're washed up, bro. Shut up." And then he responded back with the Saints sack leaders all time in Bucks and said, "To be clear, your franchise sack leaders are not like ours. Go sit down, you jabroni." And it's like, you're sitting. He is the top sack getter for the Saints all time. But are you going to tell me that Cam Jordan's a better player than Warren Sapp?
And no, not better than Simeon Rice.
He's not better than Simeon Rice either. I don't care if Simeon Rice
third at best.
Yeah, you can go look at his entire career. Ain't happening. So, but Cam Jordan just trolling away.
Yeah, good for you, loser. All right, going to get to the Rays here quick before we get to Brian Ford coming up here at 10:30. The Rays win yesterday 4-3. God, Yandy Diaz finally got a big hit. Somebody finally got a big hit. They were 1 for 21 with runners in scoring position, and finally Yandy got a big 2-out. I think it was a 2-out hit. Got a couple in. The bullpen looked great again, except for Matone gave up a home run. But then Armstrong was good. Fairbanks was good. Kevin Kelly. They used Fairbanks in the 8th when they had the meat of the order up, and he just rolled through them. So nice win last night, coming off the giveaway win of the night before. Back to 500, and they're 15-8 in 1 and 2-run games, which is third best in the league. So they're winning close games. The best is yet to come. 4 hits last night for what is it? Yandy? Who? So Yandy had the big hit. Taj Bradley. I wanted to mention him. 5 innings pitched. Really did a nice job. I thought really did a nice job.
He didn't have his best stuff, but he didn't have his best stuff, but he navigated through it and everything. Yeah. Pushed through.
I think we gave up 2 runs total. Got the big strikeout, but he needed it. So I think all in all, really good win. It takes 2 or 3 of the Red Sox, and they'll play game 4 today.
I loved my big takeaway was the 8th and 9th inning. I mean, Fairbanks coming in. Ever since he's come back off the IL, and I guess he got some treatment for this nerve issue.
Yeah,
he looks like a completely different guy. And he was fantastic in that 8th inning. Just Psycho Pete. He didn't blink once going back to the dugout. Did not blink once. And then Kevin Kelly coming in a big spot. And his stuff was electric last night, too. His slider was dancing against those Red Sox batters. So they're back to 500. I hope they can get greedy here. Like, let's win 3 out of 4 out of a series, and let's start this climb to start getting over 500.
Yeah, and if they win today, they're in 3rd place, too. So you climb over another team, which is important.
Right. It's time to climb. But Jose Siri also, I want to mention him. He seems like he simplified his approach a little bit. Like it's something so small. He's keeping 2 hands on the bat when he swings now, because Randy told him, like, hey, you probably should, have more of a controlled swing. Yeah. And he gets a big hit yesterday. Yandy as well. He's starting to get hot.
Aranda is up. I think he'll add a lot from the left side. That's good. This team is starting to get their players back. They're starting to hit. They're starting to be competitive. I was a little worried about going into this series with the Red Sox because of their pitching. It's been so good. But the Rays, not that they're not going to cover off the ball, but they've won 3. They won 2 of 3, get 3 of 4 now, and then go into Toronto and maybe make a little bit more hay. So nicely done. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Brian Ford, COO of your Buccaneers, will join us. And by the way, did you catch the schedule release video they did? That film, absolute.
A lot of great ones around the league, but the Bucs was cool.
Absolutely brilliant. So we'll ask him about that and some of the special events that may be happening here or yet to be planned for the Buccaneers. Quick break. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. They are local, they get results, and they are trusted. Scott Jeeves, great dude, great group of lawyers over there. They know the local landscape. So if you're in an accident here locally, go with the local company that's big enough to go up against the insurance companies, but small enough to make you a priority. That is the Jeeves Law Group. Get a free case evaluation by going to the website, jeeveslawgroup.com, JEEVESLawgroup.com, and tell them JP sent you. Also, we're presented by Hydrate Heroes. Go to tryhydrateheroes.com and get your free 3-pack. That's tryhydrateheroes.com. Back in 3 with Brian Ford. JP here for my friends at your local Synovus Bank, and I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation, and that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or try to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
With over 34 years of producing small and large events, Extravaganza Productions is truly a Tampa treasure when it comes to creating some of the very best events in Tampa and all across the United States. I've worked with them at the Florida Sports Hall of Fame inductions, the Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-sized event spread across all of Tampa Bay. They are the very best, from small meetings to exceptionally large corporate conferences to galas, fundraisers, sporting events, grand openings, whatever you want. Team EPI has an extremely talented staff of designers and show producers that develop extraordinary events fueled by the visions of their clients. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo will join us later in the show to talk about your health. So that'll be at 11:45. We thank him, and go get your appointments at BAMMC.com. And by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, their Memorial Day sale is coming up. So head on over there and get your engagement ring. Got to do it just like Nick and I did. All right, let's welcome in our good friend, the COO of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mr. Brian Ford. How are you, Brian? Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, good to see you. Here we are.
Yes.
The opportunity to come on board. How you been?
Fantastic, man. Thank you so much for doing this. Buck fans are absolutely ripping and ready to go for this 2024 season. The schedule is out. And as I mentioned to the folks, in my opinion, sometimes the Buccaneers don't get the greatest shake in terms of schedules. I think this year you guys I think it's a good schedule. I think it's very fair. No international games, so no international travel. Yep. I don't know how you feel about that, but maybe not as much exposure, but I think for winning football games, those hangovers, those travel hangovers can be tough. So I thought it was a pretty fair schedule. What was your first glance?
No, we're excited. It's the start. The draft kicked it off. Free agency, we were able to keep all our guys and go out, and then we picked up a great draft class, and we've been having OTAs here, and the guys are back in the building, and the buzz is here on the field. Now the schedule comes out, so we are very excited. I think the schedule, we knew where we were going, we knew who was coming, but we just didn't know when. And now we have it, so now we can lay it all out, and we can start planning. We can start putting together our game themes, and I'm excited. As you know, this is a big military town, and one of my favorite games. We got a game on Veterans Day weekend, so the day before. Nice. So that's going to be special for that. So that's going to be our salute to service game. That's a secret out of the bag, but we'll be coming out with the rest of the themes here as we get closer. And of course, training camp schedule will follow that. So everything's lined up for a great. I can't believe it, JP. It's the 27th season at Raymond James Stadium. It's
wow.
Crazy.
Already, man. And you mentioned the theme games, which I think are awesome. How do you come up with that? What's the creative process? How does that work?
Yeah, we just lay it all out. We're opening up with the Heisman Trophy winner,
yes,
Washington. That's a big game. We wanted to open at home, and we wanted to end at home, and end at home against two division opponents. So that's key. But the game themes, they all kind of come in line once we know the dates and we know what we're trying to do. And stay tuned. We love to create some magic on the field, but we love to create the atmosphere and create the theming off the field as well. So we have a team that's pulling that all together, and we're going to try to make some excitement off the field as well as on the field. But this is just an exciting time. Here we go, the 24-24 season. It's incredible.
Yeah, I was just thinking Jaden Daniels was supposed to play in the ReliaQuest Bowl. Didn't play in that, but he'll definitely play in Raymond James for this game. I'm pretty sure. So he won't miss this one.
No, open up against him. His first game as an NFL pro against Washington. That's special. We got all four teams that played in the championship games this past season. Think about that.
Yeah, how about that? And you've also got three games, or at least two 1:00 games, right? At home in September.
Yeah, we got two 1:00s, and that's not a popular, but we're going to do what we can. We got to keep everybody hydrated. We're going to work with the Tampa Sports Authority and make sure that we have plenty of and our partners at Legends Hospitality. And those are not favorable, but hopefully we'll get a cold front that week, those 2 weekends. But it's going to be football, and it's football at Raymond James Stadium, and the matchups are great. The opponents are great. The division's going to be there. And, we kept the guys, and they're excited. They're out there practicing right now, and the rookies are here, and it's a lot of excitement on and off the field.
Now, you've met some of the new guys, the new rookies. It's like asking you about your children. You have any favorites? You got any favorites that you've met, or just some interactions that you've had with some of these young men? Graham Barton he seems like a special kind of dude. I mean, just really professional, very upbeat. Humongous, very light on his feet too. I've seen that. Any first impressions of some of your draft class guys?
The first impression of all of them, and they're a nucleus of a group. They're all getting along. They know that they're our rookie class. They want to represent us on and off the field. That we got our big 10th annual Cut for a Cure coming up.
Yes.
And that's coming up on Thursday, June 6th. And I want to invite all your listeners. As you know, I ran my 20th marathon back in Boston. Gronk's like, you're going to run 20 marathons? You got to run Boston. And I told him I'd never qualify for Boston. And he's like, Brian, I'm the Grand Marshal. You're in.
Let's get paid to know people.
Exactly.
How was that, by the way?
It was remarkable. It was remarkable. But he's just an unbelievable man. And, he wants to come back to Tampa and be part of this community and be part of this franchise. And we are so excited to have him back in the fold. And he's going to be here. He said, hey, you run that marathon for me and help me put up a children's playground in Boston, and all the proceeds that you raise, we're going to bring right back to Tampa with the Pediatric Cancer Foundation.
Nice.
And he's going to shave his head. He's going to have a little boy or a little girl shave his head alongside me. We're going to have a lot of our greats come back. Jimmy Giles is coming. Mike Allstott's coming. Martin Gramatica, Dexter Jackson. And I want you there. So I'll
be there.
And it's our 10th annual And all the information's on tampagronk.com. We're actually going through him to kind of bring awareness and try to do it. But when you talk about that rookie class, they're all excited about this event. And that just tells a lot. They're new to the franchise, new to the city. And we're looking forward to make them part of that too. So there's some information out there. All your listeners can actually come for a donation of $100. You get a picture signed by Gronk. And you get to come to the event. And again, all this information is at tampagronk.com. And, on and off the field, we want to be part of this community. We want to bring a championship back. This schedule is remarkable. We want to sell out Raymond James Stadium and make it the home field advantage that it has been in the past. And, we got some streaks that we want to maintain, winning 4 straight NFC South division titles. We want to keep that going. And, we want to go deeper into the playoffs. We got a matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles with that wild card playoff game. We knocked them out. And then we go to Detroit with a rematch of that great playoff game. So a lot of exciting football, but it all starts with the schedule and then training camp. And, off the field, I'm excited about the participation and the awareness that we're trying to bring. No parent should get that call that your child has cancer. And, as long as I'm here, I'm going to have somebody, I'm going to do what I can to help bring awareness and try to bring a day where some kids can laugh and be kids and not worry about shots and syringes and, the word cancer. So I thank you for bringing some awareness to that event.
Absolutely.
And coming out. And it's going to be great. And we've got a lot of people. And like I said, Gronk is so excited to be back in the fold, and we're excited. He's definitely going to be one of our captains of the crew this coming season. We just have to pick that game.
Yeah.
And, the game themes are special, but salute the service announced here on your show. But I guess that wasn't a hard one to figure out when you play the day before Veterans Day, right?
Yeah. And we're not doing Ring of Honor this year. We take a break from that, that happens from time to time. So if you're looking for that game, don't worry about it. We're not doing that, but there'll be other themes that are coming on that'll be fantastic. You've got 4 primetime games, which is, I thought that was a little eye-opening for me, but I think that's because you mentioned this at the top. You bring Baker back, you bring Mike Evans back, you bring the whole band back together, and I think that obviously gives you some marquee value, and the networks agreed and gave you 4 primetime games. That's pretty damn good.
No, it's remarkable. I wish all 4 of them were at home, but we do have that big matchup Monday night against Baltimore.
Yes.
They had the best record in football last year, and they're going to come to our house on Monday Night Football. Yeah. So we are excited. Week 7, it's October 21st, ESPN, and the other primetime games on the road. And then, we can be flexed, and that's the beauty of the flex. It's a little inconvenient, but from a fandom standpoint, you want the best games on the primetime. And, once the schedule comes out, things change. And when teams rise, we got flexed last year and into a couple prime time, and that's what we want to do again. So, and how do you end it? What's a better script than to end with 2 division, Carolina in week 17 and New Orleans in week 18. And we don't know if that's a Saturday or if it's a Sunday. So a lot of exciting things, but it's going to be an exciting year. And we appreciate your coverage throughout and being a part of Buck Nation and bringing it out. We appreciate all your listeners, and I can't wait to see everybody out at training camp for sure.
Yeah. Hey, you mentioned sellouts, and we've talked about this on our show, and we want to get, and not just with the Bucks, but with the Lightning and the Rays as well. We want to get more Tampa Bay fans in here, and I know you guys as an organization do a lot to do whatever you can to make sure we're not selling tickets and there's more fans here. Is anything you want to give us a pep talk? I try to give the fans a pep talk. It's like, let's keep our tickets. Let's give it a home field advantage. We don't want anybody behind their bench giving them any juice at all. So give me a Brian Ford motivational speech. Like, come on, Buck fans. Let's make it our house 100% this year.
No, right? I appreciate that. Exactly. And, we try to provide value throughout year round. And for our season pass members, we value them, all of them. And we really appreciate the feedback. And we want to exceed their expectations on and off the field. And, come Sunday, come Monday, come Thursday, we want Buccaneer fans at Raymond James Stadium. It has been known as, someplace that you don't want to play from opposing teams.
Yep.
And, you know, that game against Philly, that playoff game, that wild card game last year, I mean, we rocked the house. And that was probably one of the most memorable games that I have personally. And I've been there to every game at Raymond James Stadium. And that was one that'll go down. The fan support and you know, it was fitting against Philly.
Yes.
You know, and that's what we want to have, you know, week in and week out. And it makes a difference.
Hell
and
yeah,
I know that people's schedules are crazy in the secondary market, but, you know, I assure your listeners that we're doing everything that we can to provide an afternoon of entertainment on and off the field. And we, you know, for the sake of Tampa and Titletown, Tampa Bay, you know, same thing, you know, as you mentioned with the Lightning, you know, we want our fans and we want to be known as the sports capital. And we really are. And, you know, it takes everybody, and it does make a difference. So we just encourage, we're doing our part. We have limited tickets available, but we still have tickets. Go to Buccaneers.com. They're out there. I didn't want to turn this into a sales ship, but
no, that's okay. No,
we are looking. No, we are looking to make Raymond James Stadium a home field advantage, that it has been and that it can be. And you know, I point back to that playoff game against Philadelphia.
Yeah,
that environment was electric, and our players are still talking about it. Baker Mayfield still talks about that night at Raymond James Stadium, Monday night against the Eagles. It was electrifying. He said it was one of the most, you know, awesome feelings to come out of that tunnel and to hear that crowd and then to take us all the way through that game. And it takes everybody. And, you know, we want to provide that backdrop, but it takes the fans of Tampa. And we thank them for their support. We got the best fans. I talk about that. This is a sports town. And if you're going to take the time and come out, come to all the games. And, you know, let's create some memories on and off the field. And we're trying to do our part at Bucks Beach and different things. We got a whole game day where we try to change it up. You know, people talk about our game day experience and
anything new this year?
Oh, we got all sorts of stuff that we're planning new, and we want to change it up so it's exciting and so it's different. And we got to reinvent ourselves. We challenge each other every day. You know, the Glazers, I credit them. They want to, you know, be number one on and off the field, you know, from a customer service standpoint, from a fan engagement, and from a fandom standpoint. And, you know, it starts with the schedule. We got the schedule now. We know it. Yeah, we got a couple games at 1 o'clock in September, but you know what? That's home field advantage when it comes time against the other team. You know, our guys are going to be used to it and ready for it. So we just, you know, we encourage the fans to come out, and we're going to do our part and make sure that we have what we need to have so it's a safe environment. But I want to, you know, let's get out in front this season and start on the right foot against Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity. Thanks for bringing that up. And again, to all your listeners, I thank them for their support ongoing.
Yeah.
27th season at Raymond James Stadium, home field advantage. It's spectacular. You talk about Titletown, Tampa Bay. It doesn't happen without the fans.
Yeah, I got to give you a shout out. And I don't know who's doing your social media or who's in charge of all the digital stuff that you're doing. That film that you put out for the schedule release was should be an award winner. That was Steven Spielberg-esque. That was absolutely fantastic. Clearly a lot of thought and effort went into that. Fantastic job. And you guys really, really are on the cutting edge. Your website, social media, absolutely fantastic stuff.
We got the best, and thanks for mentioning that. And I encourage all the fans, if they haven't seen it yet, go to Buccaneers.com. It's there. And, you know, JP, to tell you a little bit behind the scenes, we had that structured, okay? We had it ready, but we didn't get the schedule until the morning that it was released yesterday. So our team had a scramble to kind of put that together. We knew what the teams were, but we had a scramble to pull it all together. And it was done moments before it was released. Let's put it that way. Moments before 8 o'clock is when that all came together. And you're right. We have the best of the best. Our team is remarkable. And again, I credit the Glazers. They give us the resources. They challenge me every day. Let's get the best people in our organization on and off the field. They challenge Jason Light and Todd, Coach Bowles, to get the best players. And, you know, it's a team effort, but it doesn't happen without their support, guidance, and desire and will to be number one on and off the field. But thanks for mentioning that. And it was a lot of fun to pull together. We're always trying to one-up it and trying to create some stuff. You know, when a sports team wins some Emmys, that's remarkable, and it's a credit to the people that are in this building. And there's too many of them for me to mention them by name, and I don't want to leave anybody out. But I will tell you that we have the best of the best, and they're passionate, and they really try to exceed our fans and reinvent ourselves. You know, whether it's that schedule release video or whether it was the Rondé Barber video that we did last year, kind of signifying his career, or, you know, whatever the case may be, the creamsicle video when we reintroduced and relaunched the creamsicle. So there's a lot of examples out there. And that's just, you know, again, going back to the Glazers' desire to exceed people's expectations on and off the field and to create an environment that creates memories. And that's what this is all about. We live in paradise, JP. Our fans have options galore, whether it's the beaches, fishing, golf, performing arts, other professional sports, collegiate sports. Think about all the things that our fans have a choice. So if somebody comes out to Raymond James Stadium, becomes a Buccaneer season pass member, suite holder, sponsor, you know, it's our responsibility to make sure that we're exceeding what they expect to get each and every day. And we have to keep reinventing ourselves. And that's the fun part. And we have an ownership group that wants that. And it's not just status quo. And that's what gets me up every day, and the passion of the city. So I don't want to keep going back to it, but that night against Philadelphia in that wild card game, that gets all of us. And I remember
the way it should be every game.
That's the way it should be every game.
Yeah,
we get it, and it can happen. And we've got the schedule, and we have the opponents coming in here. You know, the Raiders are coming back, a rematch of Super Bowl 37. I mean, when you go through the list of opponents that we have coming, you're going to see some of the top talent. The past 8 Heisman Trophy winners are coming to Raymond James Stadium. It's an incredible schedule, incredible lineup, but we got to do it on and off the field each and every day. So again, I don't want to take up too much of your time. And
we could go on and on. And you probably got a lunch you got to get to. By the way, Nathan Elliott says hello, and he'll be there for the Cut for the Cure. So he will be there. Big fan of yours. Big fan of the Bucks.
Wow. Hey, Thursday, June 6th. Let's do it for the kids, as Gronk says. I sent you a video.
Yes, I already posted it.
Yeah, if you post that and you can play it for your listeners. That's Gronk, and that's the passion that he has for this town, this community, and the kids. And as he says, let's do it for the kids. You know, it's our 10th year. I want to raise the bar. You know, $87, you get a autographed picture of Gronk. He'll sign every one of them.
That's fantastic.
But for another $13, come on out and come out to our indoor facility. There's going to be activities, but most of all, there's going to be some of my heroes. You know, you talk about the players, but the real heroes are the families, the siblings, and these patients, these pediatric cancer warriors, as I call them.
Yeah.
And, you know, all we want to do is give them an afternoon to forget what they're up against and just be kids, and to give the parents a chance to watch their kids be kids. So,
well, I think it's awesome.
Else. Yeah.
I think it's awesome, Brian, that
1 o'clock.
That Gronk, and you said it, I didn't know this, but he's going to make his home here in Tampa Bay. And I know he's got some business interests. He's already started with his healthy drive-through salad company. I think it's Greenleaf. I think if I'm saying it. So he's got that. But the fact that he's going to be part of the Bucks organization and be here and live here, that's huge. And that's, you know, he's a pretty big star. He moves the needle, so it's nice to have him in your back pocket when you need him for events like this.
He's a great guy, and his family, his dad, his father lives here, and I tell you, and they love him up in Boston. I mean, he was the Grand Marshal of the Boston Marathon, and what an experience! But you know, Heartbreak Hill broke me. Did
it hurt you? Did it hurt you?
I was about 20 minutes off my 19-year average of marathons, but I finished. And I think I'm going to stick to flat courses coming up. 2021 is going to be a flat course, I think. But no more hills for I'm a Floridian, right? And
the amount of mental strength it takes to run a marathon is I am in awe of you and anybody who's ever done it. But it's no surprise. You guys do a great job over there, especially Brian. You've done a fantastic job leading the crew over there. And can't wait for this season. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. We'll definitely see you on June 6th.
June 6th, 1 o'clock. JP, have a great weekend. And if I'm not shaving my head though. You're not shaving your head?
But
color.
It'll never come back, bro.
Oh,
I ain't got much left.
It's my summer cut. Okay, it's my summer cut.
Much left, partner.
Well, thanks again.
Much left.
Have a great weekend and all the best. And thanks again for the opportunity to come on. And thank your listeners for the support that they give us day in and day out, and for their support of all sports in the Tampa Bay area. You make this town what it is. Yep. And, the organizations could not do what we do without their support. And we thank you all for that support. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Brian. Goodbye. Appreciate it. Brian Ford there, COO of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. God, I can't wait for this season to start. Cannot wait for this season to start. I thought you were going to jump in there, Nick. Or I hogged it all up for you. I'm sorry.
I was waiting for you to ask your pitch your great idea that you've been on.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I'll do that when we're having a beer.
I was following the comment section. I was following the comment section during that. And people were calling you out for your idea.
I'm not doing that. I'll wait till I get him with a beer or two in him before I go to drone tarp on him. I think that's fair. I got to get some engineering and design behind this before I really go public with it with the actual COO of the Buccaneers. Yeah, I think that's going to be a big moneymaker for me. They can move it around Florida in September and October. Give us all some shade. Good God, it's going to be tough, but hopefully just a cloudy day would be fine. That's all you need. Let's pray for a cloudy day.
Pray for some clouds.
Just a little bit of clouds, maybe a little sprinkle. No rain out. Just a little sprinkle and some clouds. All you need.
I know. And I wasn't going to ask Brian too, as I know he was talking about the special event games and stuff. I know a lot of people keep wondering about the future of the creamsicle. And I figured that if the Bucs were going, they would save that eventually because they're going to make some grand announcement, I'm sure, on that.
Yeah.
But it's funny though, and you try to get a pulse of the Bucs Nation about the creamsicle. I feel like it's like last year everybody was like 100% like we got to bring the creamsicle back, and now it's like
now how you feeling?
Now it's like a 50-50 bet. I feel like between Bucs fans of do we want to do this again? Because we just never play well in those things.
No, it's a disaster every time. Those things they're beautiful, but they're cursed. They just, lock them away or, they're ceremonial. That's fine. But to wear them for a game, we don't need all that. We've done it, been there, done it. Nice, part of the heritage, all good. No, that's a flat no. There's a reason why Brady never wore a creamsicle.
Okay. I did enjoy the discussion about Gronk though, that he is.
How about that?
Because he's always going to be a Pat. We concede that he's always going to be a Pat. But the fact that
where's he choosing to live?
That's what I'm saying though. He's got his roots here now, and I couldn't remember the name of the place that he has now. The Green. What is it?
Greenleaf? I think it's Greenleaf or something. It's 2 locations. Drive-through salads. I got to try that out. And he's also got Roca over across from Armature Works. He's a partner in that as well. He's got his hands in a lot of different businesses here in Tampa Bay. So great to have him. Right.
And I saw he was at the opening. I saw he was at the opening at one of the locations maybe a week ago.
Yeah, Charlie.
And he was passing out food in the drive-through and everything.
Yeah, how about that? You could pull up and you're like, "Can I take your order?" Yeah, Gronk. That's awesome, and he'll be here for the cut for the cure too. That's going to be great. I'll get out more information on that. I posted the video. We'll play it here in the second hour, and I'll put up that TampaGronk.com. I believe is what he said, right? TampaGronk.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll talk a little bit more Rays. We also got a special guest, Dan Schlossberg, author, has a new book out about Hank Aaron on the 50th anniversary of 7/15. If you don't know about Hank Aaron, which a lot of you kids don't know about Hank Aaron, this would be a nice, interesting segment for you to learn a little bit about the best player in the history of the game. That's the truth. The numbers, Suns, steroids, by the way. So he will join us. Dan Schlossberg will join us at 11:30. But lots more coming your way here on the JP Peterson Show. Stay with us. Are you looking to be more productive and healthier? Do you know chronic dehydration affects your overall health and well-being?
75% of the U.S. population suffers from dehydration, and many of us don't even know it. That was me before I was introduced to Hydrate Heroes. 8 times the benefits with hydration. A beverage with benefits more than just hydration. That's right, 8 times the benefits with hydration. Hydrate Heroes provides a refreshing, great-tasting beverage powder to mix with water, providing elderberry, zinc, vitamin D, electrolytes, amla fruit, which provides a great source of vitamin C, along with a proprietary mushroom blend that has shown to help increase endurance and energy at the cellular level. Hydrate Heroes is so confident you're going to love the taste and the results. They are offering our listeners a special offer, a free 3-pack sample, no credit card needed. Just go to the jppetersonshow.com, the jppetersonshow.com, and click on Hydrate Heroes logo. Hydrate for health today with Hydrate Heroes.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for Extravaganza Productions. You know, I've worked with these pros on so many big and small events. They recently did the Kappa Alpha Psi Grand Reunion, the Tampa RV Show Exhibit. They did the Skills Center opening of Tampa Bay. They can do those small events. They do the biggest of events. So if you were thinking about planning a meeting or special event, call the talented staff at Team EPI. They will give you a free creative meeting if you mention the JP Peterson Show. They will provide you with an exceptional experience. Heck, they'll even show you their huge warehouse with great props. Anything you want. They'll do it on time and on budget. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. As I enjoy my Hydrate Heroes ginger mango this morning. So good. So good. Get your free 3-pack at tryhydrateheroes.com. All the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. Amla fruit, all the electrolytes to keep you hydrated when you're working out, especially outside now. If you're playing tennis, whatever it is, with golf, I take one when I'm playing golf to make sure I stay hydrated. And you get that feeling when you get a little bit dizzy, right? When it gets super hot outside, like it's about to. Don't do that. Stay hydrated and with the good stuff. And water sometimes just doesn't do everything you need. So by the way, for hangovers, this stuff is fantastic. Ice cold, put it over some ice. Tastes good. Feel good. Go to tryhydrateheroes.com. Get your free 3-pack.
I got to try some of that after Sunday hockey for me, which I do from the hours of 8 to 11 on Sunday morning outside. And by the time I get home, I mean, I take a shower and I sit down and it's like my head feels like somebody is literally taking 2 bare hands and just squeezing me. And I'm like, damn. And I feel like I'm drinking a lot of water. And I'm like, man, why does this keep happening? But
it's because you need more than the water. You need more than the water because that gives you the electrolytes, especially the vitamin D3, the amla fruit, the mushroom blend, which is for inflammation, and it's really helped my knees. I've noticed a major difference in how my knees feel. So didn't expect that to happen. And so not just after, but while you're playing, definitely take this with you because it'll improve your performance as well. In my opinion, we can't make that clinical statement, but in my opinion,
was that statement approved and regulated by the FDA, JP?
No, it definitely was not. Oh, most certainly was not. But in my opinion, it certainly helps. So go to tryhydrateheroes.com. All right, we got some other comments coming in. Angelo Provenzano. Hello, Angelo. So when are we getting a cover for the stadium like the one the Dolphins have? The heat saps the energy from the home crowd during the 1 o'clock games. Yeah, there's no doubt the 1 o'clock games are no fun at Raymond James Stadium. That's the thing of the schedule that I think Brian dreaded the most. But you make the best of it. We have 9 home games, so hopefully we'll get a little cloud cover for those games. And that's the thing, man. It's just the heat I think we can handle. It's the sun just beating down on you that just is brutal. So
well, and the other part of that too, it's like it's not cheap to buy, water at sporting events. Any sporting event. It's like not cheap to buy water. So you spend like an arm and a leg trying to stay hydrated out there.
Yeah, I think they do make some allowances for that during the hot games, though, if I'm not mistaken. They'll keep you hydrated. It's just because you need, a couple bottles of water at least to get through a game. So yeah, it's tough. We all know. In Florida, September and October. Did you see the Jags approved or somewhat approved the $1.2 billion stadium in Jacksonville?
I just
didn't see all the deets on that.
These new stadiums just look ugly to me. They just look ugly. They got no character.
The football stadiums are very futuristic.
They're so futuristic. Like they just look ugly to me. I don't know. They just look like buildings you build in like utopia, like drawings from 15 years ago when you're trying to project what the world's going to look like one day.
Yeah.
And that's what these futuristic stadiums look like. They all kind of look the same. There's no like quirks about them that stand out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Jacksonville does need a new stadium though.
Oh, they desperately need a new stadium. Yeah. And now is that going to be a whole new stadium or a rehab?
I believe that's a whole new stadium.
Yeah, is it? Okay. Yeah, I think it is. $1.2 billion for that. I think they're doing like 50-50 with the city. And then the surrounding area is being publicly developed. Christopher Cole says need a complete redesign of the creamsicle uniforms with a combination of the old and new colors. Your thoughts, Mr. Uniform Guy?
I want to see the white creamsicle come back, to be honest with you.
The white creamsicle?
I'm gonna Google it here real quick, and I'll find it eventually here.
So it's white base with creamsicle numbers.
Or I just found it on Google. I'm gonna share my screen.
Nathan Elliott says the refillable soda cup. Yeah, which also I think you can get like Powerade or whatever there.
All right, this is the creamsicle that I want to see make a return. Right, there you go.
Oh yeah.
I like white with the red lettering and the creamsicle trim, and then the creamsicle pants. I
like that one the best. Yes, we played like crap in that one too, didn't we?
Well, they played like crap in all of them, but they've never worn this one though as a throwback to my knowledge.
I don't think
they sell it.
Yeah.
They sell it though, like they sell it on the shop. So like I know they're making it, but I'd like to see them maybe use it in the game.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of them wearing them. They always play like crap. All right, couple other things we wanted to get to. We haven't played the Kevin Cash from last night. After the big win. Kevin Cash talking about his bullpen and finally getting a hit with runners in scoring position, which could certainly help this team dramatically. Here's Kevin Cash.
Start with the top of the sixth there. Siri ties it up. Some good base running by Palacios, and then Yandy Diaz with the 2-run RBI. What were you seeing from that inning of the offense?
Hung in there on some at-bats. Certainly Yandy's was the biggest one. Weiser, that guy he's tough. Tough on righties, tough on lefties. Look at his numbers, having a great start to his season. So happy that Yandy got a breaking ball and was able to kind of give us, I believe, a 2-run lead.
Taj Bradley, how sharp was he tonight?
Really pleased with his performance again. The home run and Duran, you take that Abreu and Duran out, and we're talking about a pretty immaculate game. Tip your cap to those guys, but his stuff was really good again. Made big pitches for us. When he missed high a couple times, he was able to hit the reset button and execute pitches.
Bottom of the fifth, bases were loaded. He was able to get the strikeout to get out of it. I mean, just what did that show you, him in that challenge?
Well, I mean, a lot. Look, that's the same guy that hit the home run off of him. I mean, certainly Taj knows that in the moment, but I don't think he let that affect him. Said, I just got to execute pitches in this moment, and I think it was a three-pitch punch out.
Yeah.
Talked before the game at the bullpen. I mean, Phil got through what he had, and then it seemed like pretty quick work after that.
Really good work with the bullpen, having Adam and Clev down tonight. Appreciate Pete coming in there in the eighth, trying to get the best matchup. Felt like he was definitely the right guy to come in and face right in the middle of their lineup. Pretty selfless by him, and then KK finished it off. Like, he hasn't been in that role very often, but he certainly looked comfortable out there.
What have you seen from Yandy's at bats lately? It seems like he's back to just hitting the ball, finding holes more consistently.
Yeah, I mean, he's hitting the ball harder again, and I think probably a little bit more in the air. And that ball today was rifled up the middle, didn't get off the ground that high, but just enough. But he's a good hitter. It was just a matter of time for him to get going.
You had a couple opportunities you didn't cash in there, but it seemed like you had two guys on, I think 4 straight innings. You feel like you were going to eventually get something going?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I did, but I also, you got to give credit to Houck. He's thrown the ball well. He's really tough on righties. He's found kind of a little bit new way to attack lefties, of avoiding the fastball and throwing a lot of splits and sliders, and that presented his challenges. I mean, Johnny Aranda smoked the ball, Rortvet smoked the ball right at some guys to get that third out, but they played good defense.
Siri, as you said, he's been going through it a little bit. He had a big hit the other night, and then he get a big hit tonight. It's probably got to help his confidence.
Definitely helps. I mean, Weissert is as tough as any right-handed reliever that we've seen from the side, just with the angle that he creates, the deception, and then the late movement. But Hosey hung in there and found it to put it between, I think, in front of Duran.
I was going to say one of the biggest takeaways from last night too that I liked was, they were facing a very tough starter in Tanner Houck, who has been one of the better starters in the American League this year. And tell you what, they got his pitch count all the way to 112 last night. Yeah, they made him work. Yep. And maybe they didn't get any runs off him, but they were able to get guys on the bases. And then remember, right when they took him out, that's when the big hits followed. So they were able to finally break through a little bit against him, get him out of the game relatively early, get to the bullpen, and the big hits come through. So that was good to see from the lineup. And then, something other I'm taking note of, JP. I don't know if you saw this over as I'm on minor league watch too for certain guys.
Yeah.
One being Junior Caminero. Did you see he got a start at second base yesterday?
No, I did not.
Down in AAA Durham.
Whoa.
And I'm just saying.
Who's playing second base up here? The flavor of the day.
Are you capable? Can a glove go on your hand? Does it fit? Can you play second? That's how it's been. Well, who played second? Yes, was Aranda played second yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and we know he's not exactly a Gold Glove over there by any means. Palacios has actually looked pretty solid over there at times, but they need a full-time solution. So I don't know. We've had these discussions about, I'm sure they'd love to bring Junior Caminero up, and they're trying to find a place for him. And now they're testing him out at second base. Huh?
It's not Brandon Lau, is what you're saying.
That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I was getting to. Is
I would agree.
Junior Caminero all of a sudden is getting looks at second base, and Brandon Lau still isn't up. And what has he been cleared to go back to his Durham stint? But he's playing. It's like playing through tolerance or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
I feel bad for the guy, but it just when you get those back injuries, it's just tough to come back, and it just seems to be chronic at this point.
And this sounds like it's oblique, isn't it? This is an oblique thing.
That's all part of it. It's all core. Yeah. It's back, it's oblique, and it just it's hard to get healthy. And, he's been such a hot and cold player anyway. And, you try to count on him. You just can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. It sucks for him. But I think at this point, if you're the Rays, you got to move on. I think you got to move on.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Eventually as we get along here, because like I said, this roster crunch is going to get interesting. Somebody's got to go.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Harold Ramirez has got to go, or we talked about Siri a little bit. Of course, his play's picked up since then. So somebody's going to get moved. Somebody's going to get moved. Who knows? Maybe it is a Brandon Lau. I don't know. Yeah. I'm looking at this. What they need to do probably today or tomorrow is, they sent Renee Pinto down because they were letting too many guys just run all over them. And maybe that's not happening with Alex Jackson, but you saw that he struck out 16 times in 21 at bats so far since he's been up.
Brutal.
We're back to getting no production from the catcher position again. So that's a little tweak that I've been looking at. And then again, what they're going to do at shortstop, because I think Jose Caballero has hit a little bit of a wall at the plate. I don't know if he's a full-time guy right now, and we know that Taylor Walls can't be counted to be that guy either.
Well, at least defensively, Caballero, he's so, he just can't have those routine balls, those routine plays that you don't make,
Right.
He makes some spectacular plays. He's just not consistent enough, for an everyday shortstop. And if you're not going to be consistent from a glove standpoint, you better be damn good with the bat. And he's not.
Right.
Hasn't been super consistent with that either.
Yeah. So. Hey, by the way, have you tuned into the new stat that MLB created over this week? They have a new stat now.
Swing speed?
Another new stat. Well, the swing speed one came out, which was pretty interesting. Isak Paredes, by the way, has the slowest swing speed home run this year.
Yeah.
Not surprising. But they had this new stat. It's called a blast. And
what is that?
Not a home run. Not a home run. But they call it a blast is the most valuable swing there is. It's a swing that is squared up and fast. So apparently the bat speed has to be at least 82 or over in order to be qualified as a blast.
Right.
And then hit on the barrel, as perfect as you could get. And I found it interesting because they put the top 10 so far this year. And through his struggles this season, Yandy Diaz is 6th in blast among all major league hitters.
Isn't that going to be really similar to exit velocity? I would think that'd be really similar to exit velocity. How much different is it than exit velocity? If you're swinging fast and hitting it on the barrel, that should equal exit velocity.
Well, not every. Again, the whole new thing with the bat speed is what kind of dictates this from what I read. So it means you have elite bat speed and you're hitting it at the perfect spot of the bat. But obviously all the big velocity. Yeah, I guess so. It might be a new way of saying it, but I just found it interesting that Yandy Diaz, maybe he's been a little unlucky this year because I know his average is hovering around 250.
Right.
But according to this, going into last night's game, 6th in all of baseball in these blasts.
Yeah, that means he's
with
unlucky.
45 of them.
Yeah, hitting it right at people. Absolutely.
Right. Which has been a problem for some guys on this team.
Yes, very much so. PGA Championship update. Xander Schauffele doing his normal Thursday through Saturday.
Being toasty for now.
Yeah, 5 under par through 9. Tony Finau's 4 under through 6. The great Gim is 3 under through 12. Victor Hovland, who John Gerber picked yesterday as a possible winner, 3 under par. Jordan Spieth, another one that he picked as a long shot, to 3 under par through 6. Who else we got? Matsuyama's 2 under par. Let's see. Rory McIlroy's fall back to 1 under par through 8. Brooks Koepka 1 under par through 6. Thigala 1 under par through 6. Another one of Johnny's top 20 picks. Looking for Tiger. See how he's doing. Still looking for Tiger.
I think he's still at 1 over through 10. Yeah, he's 1 over through 10.
1 over through 10.
Yeah, the biggest surprise / disappointment this so far this morning is Ludwig Oberg is at 3 over right now through 11, tied for 66, and a lot of people were picking him as well.
Yeah, that's no
as
good.
a trendy, but now he's got an uphill battle to make the cut already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Dustin Johnson, he's washed. He's washed.
Wow, +4 through 8. John Daly's +5 through 7. For God's sake,
he's hanging out with John Daly and Michael Block right now on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, he's just completely irrelevant since he's gone to live.
He's turned completely irrelevant.
Yeah, since he
like
went
every
to live,
time, and I only see him play in these big tournaments, obviously now. But every time we come out to these big tournaments, and he obviously is, exempt, I think, through all of them. Like he's always like not making the cut anymore.
Yeah, I said that when you started this carnival over there, 54 holes and your disco, fever going on over there.
Yeah, I mean,
wearing your shorts.
I don't think it impacts everybody because obviously Brooks Koepka is a defending champion, and he's going to be in this. But
how's DeChambeau doing?
I don't know if DeChambeau. I haven't seen him on this leaderboard. I don't think he might or not. Has he teed off yet? He's even. He's even through 7. I tell you what, I don't know how much you guys talked about him yesterday, but it was this like the first time I'm like really fighting the urge to put money down on Rory McIlroy to win.
Yeah.
That's always been the rule is I just don't pick Rory in these majors. I'm not falling for it. But
last time he had a public breakup with he won the PGA at Valhalla. So I think he tried the same experiment.
And the other thing was he's the last player to win his last two starts going into a major.
Yeah.
He's the last player to do that and then win that major, which was the last time he won, which was at Valhalla, by the way.
Right.
So it's like the stars are aligning 10 years later for him. And he's right now, I think, at 1 under. So he's hanging around the mix, but I'm like fighting the urge to throw some money down on Rory McIlroy.
Have you seen Scheffler? I have not. I'm trying to find him.
I don't think he's teed off yet.
Well, I didn't even see him. What time his tee time is? Yeah, there it is. 2:13. So he tees off at 2:13 with Wyndham Clark and Brian Harmon. So he'll be in the afternoon window. We'll be watching him. So Mickelson at 151, by the way.
John Rahm is at 212.
Okay, so
another big one.
So watch some of them go out. So once again, Xander Schauffele with the early lead. Wow, shot 5 under on the front side at Valhalla. That's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We will be talking with author Dan Schlossberg about his new book and the 50th anniversary of Hank Aaron. If you don't know anything about Hank Aaron, we'll have an interesting discussion about the greatest hitter in the history of the game. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. Their Memorial Day weekend sale is coming up. 5 years interest-free, which means you can finance $5,000 for $83 a month. You can get a $5,000 ring. That's pretty sweet. That'll be a nice one. So if you're saying you don't have the money right now, well, you got $83 a month. If she's that important, you got $83 a month. That's one of your tabs at the local pub. So put the ring on her finger. You got the money, interest-free for 5 years at the Gold and Diamond Source. $83 a month gets you a $5,000 ring. So go do that at the Gold and Diamond Source. Always the best choice, always the best selection, always the best staff. The Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, and online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back in 3. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, are you going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show? It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just
get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on TrueBody and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
It's Diamond Days at the Gold and Diamond Source because April's birthstone is diamonds. As they take center stage, get up to 20% off all diamond jewelry. And our first-time buyers program will help you get educated about the 4 C's and all the different shapes and styles. And remember, you only want natural diamonds, folks. It takes billions of years to form a natural diamond. You don't want something that was made in a factory just a couple of weeks ago. And remember, your Golden Diamond Source diamond never loses its value. You can always trade up at the Golden Diamond Source for a bigger, better one. And they will spend the time to educate you about your diamonds and how to take care of them. And of course, consider the Golden Diamond Source to maintain and insure your jewelry. They can professionally clean it, check the settings, and make any necessary repairs to keep your jewelry in top condition. It's the 40th anniversary of the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Extravaganza Productions, EPI. They do big events. They do small events. They will get your event looking professional, whether you have a charity event coming up, a big birthday, a graduation party that you want to do with some audio visual, do something really creative with some great props. Well, go to the warehouse there. Go to their office at Extravaganza Production. They'll give you a free creative meeting. We'll show you all the props that they have, come up with some great ideas for you. You give them a budget, and they'll hit that budget number for you and absolutely do a perfect job. It's Extravaganza Productions. Again, big or small event, does not matter. They'll take care of you. So call my good friends over there, Paul Thomason and Dolly Brown at extravaganzaproductions.com and tell them JP sent you. Please do that. A couple other notes I want to get to before we get to Dan Schlossberg here, author of the Hank Aaron book that is out. Caitlin Clark the other night, the audience was 2.1 million people, biggest audience ever for a WNBA game by a large margin. Not quite what she was getting for the college games, but pretty damn big.
It's a great start. I tuned in for a little bit to see it. She was struggling a little bit though out there.
Yeah.
Which
I expected that.
Yeah. Like Angel Reese, I think struggled a little bit yesterday, but picked it up late. Yeah.
Yeah. These ladies aren't going to come in and dominate the league. These are
right, but they're carrying the star power though for it, because we see them as such big stars in college and everything. And like in many ways, like they've maintained that star power going to the WNBA.
Yeah. Now, I don't think she's getting 2.1 million as the season goes on. I think there's a little bit of curiosity, but ticket sales have been really, really strong. And it's fantastic. And I think, as long as the other players embrace what's going on and not and quit the sniping and all that other stuff, I think this could be a tremendous boost for the WNBA. They're already flying on charter flights now. How about that? How about that? Watched a little bit of the hockey last night, the Avs and the Stars. Avs get the win now. The Stars still have the lead, though, 3-2. All the teams that were facing elimination, I think, won their game fives. So that one's not quite over. And we got a little bit more NBA coming up tonight. And
I feel like I've jumped the gun on like all these series when it comes to hockey and in the NBA. Like I thought there was no way Carolina was getting back in this series, and now all of a sudden I'm concerned for New York.
Yeah.
And then what did I call for a sweep almost for Denver and Minnesota in the NBA?
Mm-hmm.
And
what happened to the Timberwolves?
Nikola Jokic happened.
Yeah.
He has no peers right now. He has no peer. He is in a tier of his own. He's got the defensive player of the year, like the 4-time defensive player of the year guarding him. Yeah. And he's dropping 40 on him. Like it's easy.
That what he was doing to Gobert the other night was kind of funny. It was actually, I think he was almost toying with him. And the different contortions, you don't remember, or maybe you do. You remember watching Kevin McHale, the great Boston Celtic,
I've
with
only
Larry
seen it
Bird
in
and
clips.
Robert Parrish and DJ, one of the great teams of all time. But he had, and their bodies are actually kind of similar, dad bod gods.
just an array of post moves that you just never know which way he was going, left, right, under, over. And, Jokic adds, the 3-point perimeter game as well, and just incredible passing. It's why he's the MVP. But he was just toying with Rudy Gobert the other night. And it's kind of funny, honestly. And Jamal Murray, I think, who was a little injured early on, is now able to get to his spots and is stepping up. So, yeah, I had the Nuggets buried. I had the Timberwolves winning the championship after those first two games. Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast, my friend. All right, we want to welcome in author Dan Schlossberg. He is the author of a new book called Home Run King about the great Hank Aaron. It's the 50th anniversary of 7/15. I was just a 10-year-old boy watching that one night, telling my mom, sorry, I got to stay up late, Mom. She's trying to shoo me off the bed, and I'm going. Dan Schlossberg joins us. Hello, Dan. How are you?
Good morning, JP. Great to be on your show. Hi, Nick.
Yeah.
Hey,
where are you coming to us from there? It's a beautiful setting back there that you have with the trees and everything.
I did a travel show last week, and that is not where I live. I live in northern New Jersey.
That is not northern New Jersey, as far as I could tell. So I know you grew up a Braves fan and then became a sports writer. Tell me a little bit about why the story on Hank Aaron. Obviously, for someone, I'm 60 years old, so I remember this waiting the entire off season, right? Till baseball came back to watch the great Hank Aaron go after Babe Ruth's record. What got you so passionate about this?
I became a Braves fan in 1957 when the Milwaukee Braves beat the Yankees in the World Series. All my friends rooted for the Yankees because the Dodgers and Giants were leaving town for California.
Right.
Hank Aaron led both teams in all three Triple Crown categories: batting, home runs, RBIs, and the Milwaukee Braves won their only World Championship. And by the way, here's an interesting note for your viewers. The Milwaukee Braves were the only team in baseball history that never had a losing record.
I did not know that. And tell the folks a little bit about Hank Aaron, the early years and coming up through the minor leagues and how difficult it was for him. And he was just an absolute phenom. And if you've ever watched Henry Aaron hit, the fastest hands in the history of the game, without question, the best hands in the history of the game. And, I always marveled at how Tony Gwynn always seemed to barrel up the ball, and he did. But Hank Aaron did it with power, right?
He was a contact hitter and a slugger. He averaged 63 strikeouts a year. For Tony Gwynn, that would have been a lot. But for a guy with as many home runs as Hank Aaron, that is not a lot of home runs. A lot of guys strike out almost 200 times a year. Yeah. It's crazy. Aaron was a contact hitter. He won all three legs of the Triple Crown at least twice, but never in the same season. He never won a Triple Crown. But he led his league in RBIs 4 times. Willie Mays never did that.
Huh. And still to this day, and if you throw out Barry Bonds numbers, as I do, and I think many of us do, where would Hank Aaron stand right now in terms of all time?
If you take away his 755 home runs, he still would have over 3,000 hits. He was the first guy to have 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. Very impressive. And he and Eddie Matthews, his Hall of Fame teammate, combined for hitting 863 home runs during the time they were together. That's a major league record. Wow. And homering 75 times in the same game. Also a major league record.
Now, I had the pleasure and honor to have him on my show a couple times when we were in Atlanta before he passed away, and just an absolute class act. Talk a little bit about the story behind the story and what he had to deal with as the Braves moved to the South during a very tumultuous time of race relations in our country.
That was a tough time for him. He did not want to go from Milwaukee to Atlanta. He was very comfortable in Milwaukee, and reading about Lester Maddox with his axe handles, chasing away blacks who tried to patronize his chicken restaurant before he became governor of Georgia. So Aaron did not want to go down there in the worst way, but he did go. And when he went and he saw the altitude of Atlanta and realized that Atlanta was kind of a liberal bastion and a conservative state, and saw that he could become a pull hitter in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, he realized right away that he could break Babe Ruth's record. And he was slow and steady, gets the worm or whatever, and he did. He never had more than 47 home runs a year, but always hit 44, matching his uniform number or thereabouts. Consistency is the name of the game, and that's what he did.
Nick, you have any questions about Hank Aaron being of the younger generation?
Yeah, I was through some of your research here and knowing him and everything. I mean, what are some of the stories that don't get talked about much that you may have learned here during your whole research here on this book?
My favorite one is when he went skiing with Jimmy Carter and their wives in Europe long after he retired. He befriended Jimmy Carter and several other Democratic presidents and actually campaigned for all four of them. But they went to Europe on the ski vacation, and he couldn't ski. He and Carter kept falling down. Now, Aaron is an athlete. He played racquetball. He played tennis. He swam. He fished. Obviously, he was a great baseball player. He loved football, but he could not ski at all. Can you imagine the great Hank Aaron constantly falling down, getting up again? And Jimmy Carter, too. He couldn't ski either.
That doesn't surprise me. Talk a little bit about the chase. You know, when it came down to breaking Babe Ruth's record, there are a lot of stories about some of the racism that he had to deal with back in the 70s.
He had to have separate accommodations on the road from the rest of the team. He had to eat separately, sleep separately. There was just so much hate mail. In 1973 alone, he received 930,000 pieces of mail, which was the most of any civilian who was not a politician. And he actually got a plaque. He got a plaque from the post office. Now, that was not all hate mail. He said most of it was encouraging. However, a significant portion was hate mail. And Dusty Baker told me that Hank used to throw those letters on the floor so the other black guys could read them too and know what was going on. And in fact, Hank told Dusty and Ralph Garr, who were young outfielders just coming up when Hank was retiring, he told them, "Don't sit next to me on the bench. I might get shot during the game." That was his mindset.
Yeah, it absolutely incredible to even think about it. Even when he did hit 715 off of Al Downing, I believe, you know, there were fans that came out of the stands, you know, the famous pictures of him rounding the bases, and he was terrified, right?
He was terrified, and so was his bodyguard, who was wondering whether he should shoot those two kids that came out. They eventually became doctors and also friends of Hank Aaron.
How about that? Very interesting.
How do you think it's possible, Dan, that for all the home runs that he hit, being the home run king and everything, and the longevity that he played, that he only had one, and I say only because it's an MVP, but he only had won one MVP during his entire career, and that happened when he was 23 years old. So it was early in his career. Like, how do you think that played out?
I have a whole chapter in the book on snubs that Hank Aaron endured. That being one of them. He should have won 3 or 4 more MVPs, but he always came up against somebody like Sandy Koufax, Ernie Banks, other people who just happened to get the MVP award. 1959, look up the stats. Aaron batted a career best 355 that year and was not the MVP. He wasn't even second. He never finished second in the MVP voting, and he won only one. There's a snub right there because he played 21 years with the Braves and 2 years with the Brewers. And the Hall of Fame voting, 9 writers left him completely off their 10-man ballots. 9 writers. If anybody should have been a unanimous choice, he was the guy.
How did anybody ever have to answer for that? Like, how do you leave him off the ballot?
The ballots, unfortunately, are secret ballots.
Wow.
Today, many writers reveal their ballots, which is stupid because it shows what idiotic choices they make, or if they vote for only 1 or 2 guys when 10 are deserving. But you know, I'm in favor of a big haul. There's just too many good guys who are left out. Like Fred McGriff. Why did he have to wait so many years?
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous.
Andrew Jones too.
Yeah, absolutely. No question
Dale
about
Murphy.
it. Another great
Back-to-back MVPs. Give me a break.
Yeah, and the Major League Baseball Writers Association is just famous for making errors like this, and Hank was the one who probably got snubbed more than anything. In your research in the book, and kind of the final question here, what is the main message that you want to get at the people to get when they read this book?
That anybody can achieve anything. Hank Aaron was not a big, strong guy like Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton. He was 6 feet, 180 pounds. He was a wrist hitter. He studied pitchers. He learned the game. He knew what they were going to throw him. I'll give you an example. Tom Seaver, as a rookie, struck out Hank Aaron 7 times. Hank Aaron didn't strike out very much. After that season, Seaver never struck out Aaron more than once in any other year.
How about that? Yeah, remarkable man, remarkable career. If you don't know about Hank Aaron, this is a great place to start. It's called Home Run King. Dan Schlossberg. You can get it at Amazon and everywhere else. Appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thanks, JP. Thanks, Nick. Enjoyed it.
Thanks. Dan Schlossberg right there. Yeah, I remember very vividly watching, because the Braves were, I grew up a big Reds fan. So obviously the Braves played the Reds a lot. They were in the same division for a long time. And if I'm remembering that correctly, and remember him, the chase for 715. It was, I was a 10-year-old boy, and it was absolutely all encompassing. And you just want, I remember literally arguing with my mom, like, no, I have to stay up and watch this. And she's like, why? It's just another baseball game. I'm like, Mom, it's not another baseball game. This is Hank Aaron going for 715. I'm watching this game. And then when it happened, you just the swing of the bat and the sound it made, you were like, this is it. This is the moment.
Yeah.
Never forget it. Watch it live.
I feel fortunate growing up because, obviously the Rays were not, a team until 98, right? So my entire family that's, all born in Tampa, they were Braves fans.
Yeah, of course.
And they still are Braves fans, honestly. So, I remember seeing, like, my mom had a Hank Aaron jersey from high school that she had always that I saw and everything. And so I knew always the history of Hank Aaron, but it is kind of interesting. You don't think about it every day, obviously, but you think about the great players who've played the game. I feel like even though he has the 755, he sometimes does slip through the cracks. Like when you think of the great players during that time, I feel like a lot of people point to, Mantle and DiMaggio, and because they played for the Yankees, right? And even guys like Roberto Clemente get brought up, like Willie Mays, obviously. And obviously those guys are all Hall of Fame players and everything, but this guy was the home run king for almost 30, 40 years? Or at least recognized by the stat books, right? But
still has the record for total bases, still has a record for RBIs, still has the record for all-star.
And that stat, by the way, take away his home runs and he still has 3,000 hits.
Yeah, how about that? That's insane. And the strikeouts too. He was just, his hands just, he could get to the barrel of the bat. You talk about his blast. I wonder what his blast numbers would be. Yeah, it'd be number one without question. Incredible player, and an interesting study in American sociology as well, as he dealt with all those issues in a very public way. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Chris Lugo is going to join us from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. If you have any questions for him about your health, your nutrition, testosterone, any of that, just put them in the comments there, and we'll ask him. Chris Lugo coming up in 3. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, You want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or try to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this schedule release Thursday. I hope you caught the first portion of the show, and Brian Ford, COO of your Buccaneers. If you missed anything, always you can check out the podcast, Apple, Spotify, and also on YouTube as well. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Chris Lugo from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. What's up, Chris? How are you, my friend?
Gentlemen, good morning.
You jacked up for the Bucs schedule? Did you circle all the games you're going to? Y'all ready?
Too hot. It's way too hot.
Man. Well, tell us how we going to get I don't know, the drone tarp. We got to come up with the drone.
Or that too, but if Dallas can do it, we can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's three games even. Well, it's four. The opener's at 4:25. So is it hotter at noon or 1 o'clock than it is?
Actually, heat of the day starts around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's heat of the day. So that's like
it's way 4:25.
Yeah.
The press box is so air conditioned, though. Man, it's beautiful, and they got the carving stations. Bananas Foster at halftime. I don't know what you guys are bitching about. It's beautiful.
Oh, Nick, see what we got to deal with here.
He always has to pull this card, He like tries to relate himself to the common folk, and then he pulls out the press box card, the carving station.
Yeah.
Membership has its privileges.
Yes. But hey, get your butts in the seats early and get your hydration. Like, what do you do at doctor? What do you do now if it's a 4 o'clock game? I mean, you can't bring water in there, right? You gotta. They do have those refillable cups
while you're there and getting stupid drunk and getting dehydrated. It's a quick way to get harpooned and be in the emergency room.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's gonna be tough. Well, your Gators in Miami are playing at 3:30 on August 31st, I believe. You got an afternoon game there in the Swamp.
Yeah, those are 19-year-old kids. They can handle the heat.
What about you? You'll be there. No, not for that one.
You
won't go to football games outside in that time of year.
That's why I like the Lightning so much. It's air conditioned. You're good to go. So I'm a hockey fan.
I cannot disagree. Those are just really, really hot. But the Bucs fans will make it. They're hardy fans out there. All right, so what's going on?
We just said that, by the way. He might get mad at me.
Yeah. Well, what's going on at Bay Area Modern Medical Center? What's happening? Tell us a little bit.
Nothing really new. Same old stuff. Just different day. It's the normal stuff.
Well, I wanted to ask you as we get into the heat of the summer. We talked about hydration. Obviously, I got my Hydrate Heroes here, so I'm good with that. But what about working out outside? What about eating? What should you change your eating habits during the summer? What do you think?
I wouldn't change too much. I mean, look, being born and raised here, you get acclimated to the heat. just like if we were to go to up north, I mean, it's like 50 degrees out and they're 40 degrees out, and people up in Canada are wearing shorts and in a t-shirt, and you're like, dude, you're on crack. It's freezing right now. You got a jacket on, right? So you get acclimated. So I will kindly and professionally disagree with the comment you made earlier about saying, hey, playing in the heat, our guys are more acclimated. I think we do have an advantage when we play a northern team, like a Buffalo team, like a Cincinnati team who's already starting to get a little cooler come September. You bring them here in October, November, when it's still a little warm outside and they're sweating, like they don't know what to do. Especially when they're playing games up north and they don't have to hydrate as much. They come down here, they forget how much they need to hydrate. I think those guys will cramp up probably more easily.
I just go back to a good friend, Jeff Fain, who played here, also played in Cleveland and played in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And he said, this is why I think the Bucks were so smart to build that indoor facility for practice, because he played here before they had that. And he said it's not an advantage playing in Tampa Bay because they practice in it every day. And he said, by the time I got to Sunday, I was worn out. He said, you get dehydrated every day. Up north, you're not going through all the sweat and everything. And he said, by the time you get to Sunday in the fourth quarter, it's hot for both teams, but the teams up north haven't been dehydrated all week like you have down here. So I think to that end, it's not an advantage.
Well, I think about back in the old days when they practiced by the Hall of Shame, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Let's go some old school there. Right.
Well, not only that, not only did you have the heat out there, but you also had the fumes from the jets.
From the jet fuel, sniffing on jet fuel all day long. Yeah, good times. They wanted to know why we weren't stellar players back in the day.
Let's talk about the health benefits of sniffing diesel, whatever the hell that jet fuel is.
Yeah.
Jet fuel. And you could smell it. I mean, it was pungent
100%.
because where the field was, the practice fields were right across the end of the runway or the start of the runway, depending on which way the wind's blowing, and they're taking off. So all that exhaust is like coming right at you. Like, oh yeah, what a beautiful smell that is.
Nick, do you remember those days? Were you too young?
No.
I think I was a little too young for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was a little too. What year time frame we talking here?
They moved out of $1 Buck, I think, in 2005. I think
early 2000s, yeah, because that's when International took it over, and they mowed down the Hall of Fame golf course. Sorry,
Yep.
I lost quite a few balls back in the day.
You played that? You remember? You played the old Hall of Shame?
Yeah,
I never got the pleasure of playing the Hall of Shame.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, no, never got.
Oh man.
I remember the driving range, right? The driving range was like right across from where $1 Buck was.
Yeah.
And then they had I think there's still an open field where the old golf course was. But yeah, that was, it's no one. And they had an outdoor weight room as well. So when I first came to Tampa in '97 and was covering the Bucks, I was like, I went over to $1 Buck place. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Because I was coming from Florida State. And I'm like, the Florida State had 10 times better facilities than the Bucks did. Like, imagine Derek Brooks going from Florida State to coming down here going, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they won a Super Bowl there.
Yeah, they did.
So
how bad could it really be then?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little rough.
Yeah. But so they're working out outside and sniffing the jet fumes as well. Tell me a little bit about anything going around now health-wise in terms of my lovely fiance Ashley here has been dealing with a respiratory thing and literally has had a cough. She started with the laryngitis, and then has had a cough for probably 2.5 weeks now. I mean, it's going away. But is this something that's been going around? What do you do for that?
I had a few people with that, but not a lot. Okay, but Ashley was just sick here about 4 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We got to work on her gut because it sounds like if her gut's not working so well, her immune system's taking it and she's getting sick a little more often than she should be.
Oh, I think her three main food groups are sugar, baked goods, and she weighs 89 pounds. I mean,
I was going to say 88, but I'll give you 89. Okay.
Yeah, it's like she doesn't get fat. She's not fat at all, but her diet could definitely use a little and that's where diet comes in for immune system, right? Because
100%. You got to have a good, happy, healthy gut. And people say, well, when I ate that food, I wasn't doubled over and in pain, so it's got to be good. But Nick, you had that comment when you went on your honeymoon, like, hey, I ate a cheeseburger down on when we were on our honeymoon, and it wasn't bad. But when I came back here and had a cheeseburger, it sucked, right? So when you do those little offenses, like if you feel like you're not doubled over in pain or puking your brains out or sitting on the toilet, that it all must be okay, and that's not the case. So that's why you really do have to fertilize the soil, as we would say, with good, happy, healthy stuff. Fermented foods, sauerkraut, kefir, kombucha, fiber. Yes, that's all good for the gut because we have bacteria that live inside us. Okay.
Yeah, on the topic of diet, because I was blown away, obviously, when I met with you, when I was telling you about what I was doing and everything. And the first thing that came out of your mouth was, you're not getting enough protein. So for those like me who are trying to put on more muscle mass, sort of, can you explain protein intake, how important it is, and how much you need? Because you're probably not getting enough.
All right, so I'm going to push this up a little bit right here. That one over there, University of Florida, nutritional science major. Okay, I was taught 0.6 to 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram. Who set that standard? The ADA, American Dietetics Association. Who influences them? A lot of people influence them and pay for a lot of their studies, but the WHO is the big one, World Health Organization. The WHO comes up with these numbers in order for the Homo sapiens, for all of us, in order not to starve to death, right? But if you want to thrive as a Homo sapien, you need to be doing more. Tom Lehman out of University of Illinois, I believe that's his name. He's done the most study with this stuff. It's 1 gram per desired weight in pounds. So if you're trying to get to 150 pounds, 150 grams, you're trying to get to 200 pounds, 200 grams, you're trying to get to 250 grams of protein a day. That's a boatload.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. Now, when you start breaking that down, it's not a lot of calories, guys. If you think about 100 grams of protein is only 400 calories.
Yeah.
200 grams of protein is 800 calories. If you told somebody you're only eating 800 calories a day, they're like, dude, why are you starving yourself? Right? But when you break it down, that's not a lot of calories. But when you put 200 grams of protein on a table, you're like, oh, hell, I could eat all that. You can't comprehend it.
So how do you eat enough protein without having to have 6 steaks a day?
So you're taking advantage. You're not intermittent fasting. Okay. You're not doing that time compressed feeding. You're not skipping that breakfast. Oh, I had a banana for breakfast. That's you missed a window of opportunity to get your protein in. So you should be slamming down 4 eggs, 5 eggs, 6 eggs in that morning, 6 grams of protein per egg. So take advantage of those things every 3 hours. You should be eating some kind of protein. Okay.
What do you feel like is if you can't have a burger or red meat or chicken or eggs, protein powders, protein bars?
Grab a protein shake. It's the lesser of two evils. Am I going to endorse that for everybody? No, I'd rather you eat real foods. I'd rather you have a chunk of steak, a chunk of chicken, pork, whatever it be. But if you got to grab a protein shake, because hey, I'm on the run to the course, whatever it be. I'm on the run to work. I woke up late today. Take the lesser of two evils. You want to do a good quality protein. Don't buy the cheap stuff. Mm-hmm. I like grass-fed stuff. Transparent Labs. I'm not going to endorse anybody specific, but I'll say some names out there. But Transparent Labs makes a good one. Naked makes a good one. There's a few other good ones out there. I personally use Thorne. I'm a Thorne guy. But there's several good quality proteins. So if you're in a pinch, grab a shake.
All right. And for kids,
don't replace your meal with it.
Yeah. Don't replace your meal with a shake. And for kids trying to get more protein, which I'm trying to get into my stepchildren here, I can only get them to eat protein or to do protein shakes. They don't like to eat meat. How do you do it?
The kids are still young. Yes. They're still developing that palate. You got some kids who are already get it, who are a little, as we'd say, 4x4s. They can eat anything. They're diesel engines. There's some that want to be Ferraris. There's some that are very picky, right? They want only certain things.
Like
you've got to give and take. Eventually, they'll open up that palate. They'll want more stuff.
Yeah. All right, partner. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com is how you get in touch with Chris Lugo. Call him, get an appointment, get your blood work done. Which, by the way, I need to get my blood work done. Do I need a script for that, or just go to Quest?
You do, yeah.
All right, send me a script.
And Nick, healthier than he thought he was.
Yeah.
A lot healthier than I thought I was.
You thought he was.
Anxiety and stress stripped away, finally.
Yes, good.
So, there you go.
Knowledge is power. So when you check under the hood, it's good to know what you got going on, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Right. And how much weight have you lost?
Tell her she's next.
I had gone from 177 to 155. So I overcorrected a little bit. But now after I've met with Chris, I've actually got back up to 161. And not eating junk necessarily, just making the alterations that he kind of just mentioned in diet.
Yeah. Good stuff. Get a healthy gut. It'll help your immune system and it'll help your weight as well. Thank you, partner. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Have a great week. Talk to you then.
AMMC.com. Yeah, nutrition is such a huge part of all of it. And I'm trying to eat a little bit better myself recently, get more protein. And I finally found something the kids like. I make the homemade chicken fingers, with the with olive oil and breadcrumbs. Yeah, they love it.
I don't understand how a kid can't eat protein. Like, I couldn't get my hands on chicken nuggets and steak. God. My goodness. Like, I mean, I started early maybe, but I couldn't get my hands on enough.
I make them these, get some lean ground beef and I season it up really nicely, make burgers and now they'll eat McDonald's. They eat McDonald's burgers all day long, but the fresh made burger, no, want no part of it. I need to just start saving the wrappers and just like wrapping up my burgers in it, and then they'll eat them. They'll probably eat them if it's in a McDonald's wrapper. Isn't that crazy? Bananas. No, the kids get up in the morning. They don't even want to eat. I'm like, how do you not want to eat in the morning? Like, I'm starving.
Cereal, anything, nothing.
Sometimes some cereal, Pop-Tart. I eat half a Pop-Tart. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'll make you some eggs.
Pop-Tart.
Nope. Yeah. Huh. All right. Great job, Nick. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thanks to Brian Ford, COO of the Buccaneers, for joining us, Dan Schlossberg, Arthur, and Chris Lugo. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. We got coming up next week, Titus O'Neil is going to join us as he gets set to go into the Tampa Sports Club Hall of Fame. Don't forget to get your tickets for that. June 5th is the big event. Tampa Sports Club of Tampa Bay. Go to their website and get your tickets for that big event coming up. Also going in, Bruce Arians, Steve Spurrier, lots of big names. So join us for that. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you tomorrow, 10 to noon.